Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, where we will be talking about. I don't even know what we're going to be talking about. This is the part of the episode where I try and figure out what I'm gonna talking about it in it. Okay, there's a few too many words to fit in that line there. Yeah, I don't know. What can I talk about? What exciting things have happened? You know. If anything, I suppose doing a daily report on my life every single day, either is sort of like desensitized what an interesting thing has happened is, or maybe my life is just kind of mundane most of the time. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow at 6:04pm on Wednesday, June 7th, 2023. Which, to be honest, I think is to be expected. It's not. I don't live a particularly mundane life. Sorry, not mundane. A particularly. What's the opposite of mundane? Like interesting? I mean, I feel like interesting versus mundane feels like it's doing a bit of injustice. My life is reasonably routine and reasonably standard. You know, I'm not really the type to chase thrill-seeking events and that sort of thing, which is weird. You know, I don't know if I've ever spoken how weird it is, but I don't really care about doing like these exciting things or new things or whatever. You know, I don't have much of a sense of wanderlust for travel, and I have much more of affinity for, you know, the smaller things, I suppose, in life, if you were to describe it more poetically. But I still like really love things like, you know, like skydiving. I love the concept of it. It doesn't like scare me in the slightest. Roller coasters I absolutely adore. I love going on roller coasters. They don't make me feel sick. I don't feel scared or anything on one of them for whatever reason. You know, things you know, like horror related things. In fact, horror related things tend to go like spiral around to being kind of boring most of the time because I don't know. Like, it's not that I'm not scared, I suppose, necessarily when I'm doing it, but I like them, but I guess like my reaction to them is not as scary, supposedly. But I don't really seek out doing those activities. It's sort of weird. I guess the way I put it is like my adrenaline. No, not adrenaline receptors. My adrenaline response is not flight, perhaps, but I also have no desire to, you know, kick that fight or flight, or kick start that fight or flight response in the first place. So I don't know. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. But fight or flight is actually an interesting thing to talk about, because I don't think I've spoken about it in general before. But it's a thing that, you know, people who love adrenaline thrill seekers or whatever are basically just kickstarting the fight or flight response, right? Which is why, you know, they tend to like it, is because the response to adrenaline is not, you know, fear, I suppose, so much as it is excitement. I don't actually know if that's true. I think I might just be making it up, to be perfectly honest. But, you know, doesn't it sound convincing when I say it with so much confidence? Yeah, actually, now I think about it, you know, I say one of my friends runs this like Q&A thing where, you know, she posts like questions in our Discord server, and we all answer it based on like these multiple choice questions like about ourselves. One of them she did ask is, do you have a fight or flight response, or like in a like stressful situation, are you fight, flight, or, you know, the other F, which is normally freeze? I forgot what the other one is. And have I spoken about? I feel like I must have spoken about fight or flight before. I have spoken about fight or flight before. That's wild. Okay, so I'm not going to speak about fight or flight. I guess I'll go down the other conversation topic which I wanted to go down, which was I can't remember what it was now. A mundane life, you know. Like, I think mundane life is kind of good, if anything. Although now I'm kind of curious. What did I say for that question? Did I say fight or flight? I don't even know what I put. I'm like none. Oh, I actually put none. Because I mean, you know me, I'm not very much a fight person, and flight is not very true either. Freeze is also kind of not really true. It's more like fight, flight, freeze. What's mine? Like, I don't know, fix. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of hard when you're restricted to any F. Anyway, we can talk about that again when we do a fight or flight redux. But no, like mundane life. I mean, I think it's a good thing probably that life is mundane, because it's not that life is mundane, like completely, especially if you're not seeking a mundane life. I still seek, you know, things which I still like want things which bring me happiness or joy, or things I'm interested in or challenge me to that extent. So I don't mean like a literally mundane life. I'm not like waking up, sitting, staring at a wall for like 20 hours, no, 16 hours a day and then going back to sleep. I was trying to divvy up the day to be like, to allow for a reasonable amount of sleep. And I can only, you know, sympathise with you, I suppose, if that is your life. But that's not exactly the sort of life I'm seeking out. But it's a thing where I think I take pleasures for much more mundane things in life, you know. I've always thought about this as well, you know, like social encounters. I don't know why I describe things so robotically, like an alien describing things that we learned in a dictionary. But I don't seek out, like, when doing like social events or that sort of thing. I don't, you know, need necessarily an activity to congregate these social meetups around. Like, a lot of times when I go out to see friends, that sort of thing, we always go do something. We might go bowling, or we might go watch a movie, or we might go eat some food. Is kind of like the more generic things we do. But I'm perfectly content with just, you know, meeting up with my friends, you know. And if they were just like, hey, you want to just like sit around, you know, chatting while drinking tea and eating biscuits or something, absolutely. Which you might be like, that's real grandma energy or something coming from you, which is kind of true, probably. That's true, and I'm not going to deny that or something, but, you know, that is the more exciting part to me, I suppose, is the not necessation, what's that? Is being surrounded by my friends, I think, in the first place, and being able to socially hang out with them rather than necessarily the activity being the focus. Which is why mundane activities, I think, not necessarily appeal to me more, but the difference between a mundane and a more interesting activity is not so apparent for me. Personally, I prefer the edge. So yeah, and if anything, I think a mundane life is generally quite good, because most people's lives, okay, there will be some people's lives whose every single day is literally different, you know. I don't know what sort of superstar lifestyle or job or whatever you have to live that life necessarily, but some people do have that. And some people's, you know, lives are different every single day, but not in like a grand spectacle sense, you know. It's not like, very few people live a life where they're like, oh, you know, I'm traveling to like a different single country every single day, I'm doing a different activity every single day or something like that. I don't even know if any jobs require that, to be honest, but, or I guess no job would probably, and you just have riches or something to support yourself. Okay, fair enough. But most people, you know, they'll have to be working a job, you know, let's say standard 9 to 5, and, you know, I'm sure, I don't know what most common job is nowadays, but I wouldn't be surprised if nowadays it's some sort of office job, you know, and within that, it's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world, you know, and it's not like I'm waking up being like, whoa, you know, it's not like people are waking up and going like, whoa, the office has turned into like a roller rink or something, whoa, my job's completely changed, or that sort of thing. I don't think people necessarily want that, but, you know, more power to you if you do. Mundane is good, I suppose, is what I'm trying to like sort of nail at here, because mundane means stability, right? You know, it gives you a stable base to work on. You know what to expect and that sort of thing. You know, it's safe, it's secure, and maybe it's something you like to do, maybe it's not something you like to do, which hopefully gives you some motivation to find something which you do. But I don't know. I think now we're getting too far into specifics, but what I'm basically saying is mundane is good in the sense that it's safe, it's stable. You know, but it could be far worse than mundane. You know, I don't think it's fair to treat mundane as if it's the end of the world, because it's not the most exciting thing. Sure, it would be still pretty good to be able to do exciting things from time to time, you know, during a weekend or something, or when you have like time for your hobbies or your interests. You know, it's nice not to be completely consumed with a mundane. But it's a mundane base, it's, you know, kind of fine. I mean, if you're, oh my gosh, a Joy-Con drift of this is going absolutely crazy. I feel like it's the most common thing. Like, if you ever ask people, you know, it's a very British thing, perhaps. Maybe not so common in other countries, I don't know. But to be like, oh, yeah, how are you doing? How was your weekend? Or that sort of thing. And most people just be like, good, had a nice, relaxed weekend, or that sort of thing, which is basically code for I don't really do much this weekend. Which, you know, I've done that plenty of times as well. To be perfectly honest. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know. As is often my response when I hear that sort of thing. I'm going like, yeah, relaxing is good, relaxing is nice, because, you know, sometimes people just need time to recharge for themselves. Sometimes, you know, you can't do interesting activities all the time. Probably sometimes you just need to get some like basic admin stuff down. You know, maybe that weekend's a weekend you need to call the bank, you know, to sort out your something which is going on. Like, maybe you need to renew your credit card or debit card. Maybe you need to this is one of the times you need to go to the dump and, you know, drop off a load of rubbish or whatever, you know. I don't think people would necessarily say these are like the most interesting things to do. They'd probably still constitute under like mundane life, but it's nice that that's the option, isn't it? Basically, I suppose the long and short of what I'm trying to say is, I'm never going to hate on a mundane life, you know? A life well lived, I suppose, is measured by through many different metrics, depending on who you are as a person. And to me, having a solid base of mundane, a mundane life is basically, should be the complete mean, the complete average, you know? That is sort of just like the absolute, like, zero line that you work off and base. And there's nothing wrong with zero, especially when you're considering that number line goes into negatives. You know, I'd certainly take a mundane life over a very, like, sad life, I suppose, full of, like, difficult hardships. Maybe that's selfish of me to say, but I mean, that's not exactly how life is, to be fair, so it doesn't quite work out like that. Oh my gosh. The Joy-Con drift is going to be crazy, so I think we actually need to trap ourselves in a hole like this, so we can actually do it. No! Stop. Stop. I actually can't look upwards. Please. There we go. Okay. Chill. Dear, chill. Okay. So yeah, a mundane life is, you know, I don't think it's a bad thing, necessarily. If you're out there living your mundane life, go for it. You know? Every life is mundane from time to time. I suppose it's also unfair me saying mundane in its entirety. It's fine. I mean, it depends on the person. Some people are probably very comfortable just living, doing mundane things, quote unquote, mundane things every single day. But I also think that mundanity is fine because it gives a sort of base comparison point to the non-mundane when you get around to doing them. You know, do holidays feel... Oh, hold on. This is not why I'm trying to go with it, because I was going to be like, do holidays feel special if you don't go on them all the time, which is not really what I meant to say or wanted to say. It's more like, how would I put it? It's to be expected, I suppose, of human life, right? So it's not the worst that could be happening at that moment, which is probably not the greatest way to look at things, to be honest. You know, I feel like people should generally strive for the good things to be happening. But, you know, sometimes you just need a mundane life. So really, I guess, you know, I've talked myself into being like mundane life is fine. And now I'm just like, you know what? Variety of life is fine. Or variety of life is fair. Or should be, you know, what you strive for. But I guess, you know, that wasn't really my point to begin with. The point, to begin with is mundane things are fine. Because, you know, mundane is good in the sense that it's stable. There's nothing wrong. There was nothing particularly great with it, but there's nothing wrong with it either, which is also perfectly fine to work with, I think. Not for everything, of course. Some things you certainly want to be good. You know, there's once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and if they end up being mundane, it can be a little bit disappointing, but of course it's not the end of the world. There's also, like, no stars for whatever today, and seeing as we don't really need any more star fragments, I think, of any type, I'm just going to peace out of it. So yeah, I mean, it's just been pretty mundane these past few days. I don't think I've done anything in particular. I think I accidentally said no there. You know, just like eat some food, you know, worked, you know, recreationally, I played some games, hang out with friends, record some videos. There was no like big events, I suppose, coming up. Like last weekend, I don't think I did really like anything noteworthy or big. I think the weekend before that, you know, celebrating a friend's birthday, because that was quite a big thing, right? This weekend, do I have any plans? Oh no, this weekend I am going to go see a movie with some friends. I think we're going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So, I don't know. But, I was also reminded that Into the Spider-Verse has come out. And that's actually one thing I want to see. Because, I really like that movie. Into the Spider-Verse 1. At the time it was released, I was like, this has got to be my favourite movie. Animated movie of all time. Like, it's by far and away my favourite superhero movie. I don't think anything comes close to it. Or if it does, there's probably something which might come close to it, but not that I can think of off the top of my head. But I loved the first Into the Spider-Verse. And Into the Spider-Verse 2 is coming out, so I'm just like, yeah, of course I'm excited about it. And part of me also wants to see reviews to see how well it's received, but nah, I'll hold out on it. But yeah, anyway, I mean, I don't know if you would consider going to a movie a mundane thing necessarily. I suppose, if anything, I'm kind of having a redefinition of what mundane is. I'm not really taking mundane to be the actual dictionary definition of literally, but actually I'm not sure what the literal one is, but I take it to mean as super boring and uninteresting, lacking interest or excitement or dull. I'm kind of taking mundane to be like not of note, which is fine, you know, because sometimes in your life things are not of note, right? And they probably should be not of note, because then you'll be able to balance out things, I suppose, necessarily, but more like things will be a bit more. No, what am I trying to say? Is that dull moments in your life aren't inherently bad things. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say you should be hunting out dull moments, but it's sort of like yeah. Dull moments in your life aren't necessarily a bad thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm confusing myself. I've never been so confused about what I'm trying to get at in a conversation topic. I guess that's like, yeah, mundane life. I suppose it also depends on who you are as a person and what sort of life you've been living thus far. You know, I've had the very fortunate privilege, I'd say, that most of my life has not, you know, been full of terrible hardships or anything like that. You know, of course, I've had, you know, good and bad things to work through, of course, but I've still, you know, am a very privileged position where I've not been, you know, I've not had like any crazy hardships I've had to overcome. So if anything, you know, maybe it's not right for me to say, but if you are someone who's had significant hardships for your life, significant difficulty or like terrible things happen, then you know, you probably welcome a mundane life with open arms, right? I don't know, maybe it's just not really my place to say, to be honest. As I say, it doesn't really apply to me, so it's a bit redundant. Not redundant, but it's a bit empty, I suppose, me talking about it, because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. And the thing is, every single time I say the phrase mundane life, I can't help but think, maybe I'm playing too much Genshin Impact, but the only thing my brain thinks of is like, oh, Genshin Impact, you know, Xiao's banner is called an invitation to mundane life. I don't know why I need to remember that, but I do. So yeah, you know, maybe if, you know, you've had a very hardship-filled life, filled with like troublesome or tiresome things, and you've had enough of it, of that sort of thing, maybe your invitation to mundane life is coming very soon, and I hope it does, if that's what you want. Even if you haven't had hardships, you know, if you just want a mundane life, I hope your invitation to mundane life is coming soon, and you can accept it and be like, yeah, this feels great. Mundanity is what I desire. Yeah, I don't really know where I was going with this. Yeah, I don't know. Mundane life. If anything, I suppose it's quite fitting for me to talk about it while playing, you know, Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is sort of just like mundane life simulator. Like, what's the most exciting thing which happens in Animal Crossing? I guess like the events, but even then they're not that crazy. They're probably like on the levels of like a town like festival or something, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's, you know, a lot of towns have like festivals or celebrating festivities, so it's not like the craziest thing. I suppose in the what I'm trying to say is like in the entire landscape of video games and that sort of thing, Animal Crossing certainly is a lot more mundane, or as is, compared to, you know, I don't know, like Doom. Would I want to live like the life the Doom guy lives? No, absolutely not. Are you crazy? That's insane. Would I like to live the life that the kid in Undertale lives? I mean, I guess it'd be kind of cool to be able to go to the what's the word called in Undertale? The underground, that's it. Would I like to live a life that the person in... I don't know. I'm just trying to think of games now. Basically, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but a lot of like story, or maybe it's just the types of games I played. A lot of the story, a lot of video games I played, I suppose, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I want to live a life necessarily, you know. Would I like to live a life in The Walking Dead zombie apocalypse? Absolutely not. You know, that's 100% not my sort of thing. I don't know. Anyway, long and short of it, I suppose, is, you know, I hope your invitation to mundane life is coming soon. If things are mundane for you right now, fair enough. And if things aren't, if things are hectic, then I hope they can calm down if you want them to. And if you don't want them to calm down, then I hope they stay hectic, I guess. I don't know. I hope life is as you want it, is my long and short of it. Is that really the conclusion I come to at the end of it? Probably. So anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. This has been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. Bye-bye for now.